yang terdepan. Mimpi kecil bisa jadi besar. Dan kamu juga bisa mendunia. Jadi, siap wujudkan semua jadi nyata?
Panas. Ini oven nih. Hai. Ya kelar. Wih. Nah ini Super Oven si paling seru. Mau gini seru. Mau gitu seru woy. Mau lagi, terus aja lagi. Super Oven seru.
Welcome, everybody, to the final step of the road to the International 2023. It's the Bali Major. That's how we're closing this circuit out before we look towards Seattle. For right now, we're enjoying sun, sunshine, and actual grass. Dota players touching grass. 3 of them, actually. I got Fear, I got Aurora, and I got Winter joining me. And Fear, I imagine that how much time do you regularly spend outdoors?
That's a good question.
So I need to know.
More than I have when I played more competitively, so probably 1 to half an hour a day.
A day? That's impressive.
At most.
Okay. On average, Aurora.
On the weekends.
On weekends? Oh, no, I don't accept that.
It's funny you brought it up because my dad literally said that a few days ago. Like, you guys should just go out and soak a bit sunlight and then come back in, otherwise you're really gonna die because you have not enough vitamin D.
Our bodies aren't used to this.
I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
The sun is coming in waves.
We're getting a surplus. It's healthy for you, Fear. Embrace it. Winter, welcome to another major. What up?
I like the sun.
You like the sun?
Yeah, I'm under the sun like 5 hours a day, 6 hours, 5, 6 hours.
Do you
chose the seat furthest away from the sun? Like, look at this guy.
I'm already under the sun all the time. I have to feed.
Oh, okay.
I feed the fish. I feed the stray dogs. I feed the stray cats. I cycle to the farm. I have to deal with this guy.
Yeah, because I'm always outside. You know me. I'm a gamer. I'm always got my blinds open.
Yeah.
I don't.
Whenever you travel, you need the sunlight. It helps with circadian rhythm. So when
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah, when a circadian rhythm. When you're jet lagged, you feel better under the sun.
Well, the thing is, though, he's permanently jet lagged. So
Yeah, exactly. Because you and I just came from Dream League, actually, where a lot of these teams came from. But guess what? Everybody made it, because this is the first major that we're going to be having with no stand-ins. Every single full roster in full effect.
Wow. That is pretty crazy, actually. It feels like almost every tournament we've been to, someone couldn't make it. So having a tournament where every team is playing at full force is quite impressive, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had this level of international competition. And what does this competition entail exactly? Well, if this is your first time watching a major, welcome. We're glad to have you. But also, I'll give you a quick rundown on how this tournament works. We're starting things off in the group stage with 18 teams, 2 groups of 9 teams each, with a single round robin, and all the matches for these next 5 days are going to be best of 2s. The first and fourth place team of each of these groups will proceed to the upper bracket of playoffs. 5th and 6th place will go to the lower bracket, where it's just single elimination, and 7th through 9th place are eliminated. After that, we will move on to the playoff stage, which is a double elimination bracket, assuming you made it to the upper bracket. And then the remaining 8 teams will proceed to the Ayana Estate, where we get to our finals. The remaining 8 teams will compete for, you know, the major, the points, the money, the glory, all of it, in front of a crowd. We got some people showing up on
I mean,
location.
if you lose, it's not that bad, honestly. We're in Bali, so...
There are worse places to get eliminated.
That reminds me of the Manila Major. Like, I went there, I got eliminated really early on, and it was one of the best eliminations of my life, you know? Like, honestly, so it's not the worst thing. Win or lose, you're in Bali.
That's the spirit. And even if you lose at this tournament, depending on how late you lose into it, you're going to take home some prize points for the DPC, and you're also going to take home a chunk of change as well. Top 8 will get $12,500 and 300 DPC points. Now remember, because this is the 3rd and last major of the circuit, the points are quite inflated, because the idea is that the closer we get to TI, the more likely it is that you need to be at top form before you show up to Seattle in just a few months. So first place is going to be getting $200,000 and 600 DPC points. And that value is quite important, because a lot of these teams are still in contention to make it to TI. It's not guaranteed yet. We've only locked in 5 teams for TI so far. So we still have a fair amount that are still up for grabs. 7 other slots are up for grabs right now, because we bring 12. And then 6 formerly from each region. But now we have a disparity. South America gets 2, and Western Europe gets 2.
Sounds about fair for Western Europe.
But you're supposed to be advocating for Southeast Asia, Winter. It's a Southeast Asia land.
I can't help it, man, when our team sucks.
Well, which teams are we bringing here from Southeast Asia? Let's take a look at the groups for the Bali Major. 2 groups of 9 teams each. Group A has got Tundra Esports, Spirit, Shopify Rebellion, Invictus Gaming, Blacklist Rivalry, Beast Coast, Team Aster, Team Liquid, and Execration. Meanwhile, Group B, PSG.LGD, Bleed, Evil Geniuses, Gaming Gladiators, Bet Boom Team, Nouns, Quest Esports, Azure Array, and 9 Pandas. Aurora, what's the group of death between these 2?
I think it's the second one. When I see Gaming Gladiators and Bet Boom, 9 Pandas, and also kind of LGD in there together. Because we just finished Dream League, right? So 4 of these teams are like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, and even in Berlin, 9 Pandas, Gaiman obviously won it. Evil Geniuses got top 4. But the real killer is Nouns, am I right, Fear? Nouns is what everybody's looking out for.
They have a lot to show here, for sure. I think I'm expecting them not to have the greatest performance, because normally in international play, they don't do the best. I will say Group B is going to be a group in which I feel like it's going to be very top-heavy and bottom-heavy, or Group A, anything could happen in that group. But we'll have to see. There could be some upsets here.
Has Nouns even... Okay, so I would consider, I suppose, playing South American teams to be somewhat international. And I think Gunnar also gave an interview where he said that Nouns was exclusively scrimming European teams.
Yeah.
But I don't think have they played any LANs against international opponents?
Dream League Season 19?
Oh, that's true. They were at 19.
Yeah, that was their only one, I think.
Yeah, and they kind of got smashed in that one.
They got smashed pretty hard. So, not a good look, but we'll have to see here. They have another chance. They beat TSM finally to get here.
Right.
So, like, they have some momentum, some steam going, and TSM's been a team that can do pretty decent, or they flop. Hoping Nouns is going to be able to surpass that somehow coming from the NA region, because, you know, it's kind of boring just having Rebellion as our only team. Like, this is the only team that can get the playoffs. I want to see another one.
But I was a little bit sad that TSM couldn't make it to this one, because, Winter, that meant that no Indonesian players made it to an Indonesian major.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
I know, it's a shame, because it would have been Whitemon out of TSM, and then Makoto out of Talon, and then Boom had a fair number of Indonesian players.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
kind of lucky.
They kind
Maybe
of
next
pulled
time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
They
Maybe
can
yeah.
all watch. They can come and
They can go. They can watch. We'd be happy to have them.
There you go.
That's the plan, you know. Hey guys, what if we all don't fight for this and just watch?
Depending on, given how Talon did at Dream League Season 20, I don't think they took kindly to not qualifying to this major. But it's okay because they're in pretty good shape to qualify for TI, but they're not locked. Let's take a look at where we are right now and the teams that are confirmed for TI and the teams that still have to make it there. So as I stated, 5 teams are already mathematically guaranteed to be making it to Seattle based off of their DPC points over the leagues and over the Lima Major and Berlin Major. So Liquid, Gaming Gladiators, Evil Geniuses, Shopify Rebellion, and Tundra Esports are already confirmed. 3 Western European teams, 1 South American team, and 1 North American team.
Yeah, there's a lot to ride on this tournament when it comes to points, right? Because you can't get points anymore this year. This is it.
This is the last chance.
This is your last chance to get any points here. So depending how a lot of these teams do place, it's gonna just fill up the rest of these teams. That's kind of crazy to think about. There's a lot to be filled in here.
And a lot of the placeholders are also dependent on surprise results. Like some teams are like Talon, for example, as we can take a look at the points that everyone is at right now. Talon is in good shape, but like assuming Azure Ray wins this whole tournament or something like that, and then like Nouns gets second place, then all of a sudden they're not in contention. So depending on how our group stage results go, we can also start knocking some teams out, but those calculations will have to be made in the coming days. But
They only need the teams below them not to score a lot of.
exactly.
Like there are like what 5 teams below them that could possibly outscore them.
I'll tell you what the teams are. Let's take a look at what everyone's point total is right now as we begin the Bali Major and see how close these teams are to making the gap. So, as I said, the 5 teams are already guaranteed lock, and Talon is currently in 6th. But you'll notice that they don't have a little Dota logo next to their point total. It's because they're not in this tournament, and neither is TSM, whereas all the other placements are still in this tournament.
Can't get any more points if you're Talon or TSM, so your fate isn't really in your hands anymore, right? That's
Yep.
pretty much all that means. And for the other teams, you got a lot to fight for, and what was it, the top 5 were
Correct.
locked in.
Those are
Top
locked.
5 are locked in. The rest of them, who else do we got there? LGD, Bedboom, going at last Dream League as well, that they're in contention. It's not going to be easy if you're sitting at home with your TSM, for example, right? Like, I'd definitely be nervous if I was in their shoes.
For sure. Aurora out of 13th through 29th place. Which one do you have high hopes to maybe make their name on this leaderboard?
I think one is maybe Nouns because they
Hell
are the
yeah.
only one that are geared up for Bali. They had the glasses on the logo
They did.
even.
The
Yeah.
Noggles.
And then I noticed the top 5 teams, their logo. Like speaking of points, they all have different number of points. Look at Liquid. They're like a pentagon or something, and then Gaming Gladiators is a hexagon.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're taking geometry into account. But Nouns has no edges. It's a perfectly circular logo.
But they have the glasses.
They have the glasses.
But
That's
Nouns
true.
has to get, at least 2nd place or something?
Yes. So someone has actually done the calculations, and I know that also Knoxville has percentage chances of each of these teams.
Right.
But we will run the calculations as more teams get eliminated. But for the most part, consider it that if first place in this tournament